Hi, welcome to the Financial Fox. I'm here with the market guru Zach Mia, and back with us today is Michael Masterman, CEO of Saffron Energy, joined by Sara Edmonson, Non-Executive Director of Saffron, but also CEO of Po Valley Energy. Welcome on the show.
Thank you, Stefania.
So, Sara, I understand that you are still on maternity leave, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
So what are your plans? When are you coming back?
The plan is to come back early September. I'm still obviously very much behind the scenes, but officially to come back early September.
Okay,
yes.
So you've still been working with your team in Italy?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Maybe would you like to tell us a little bit more about your team that you have in Italy that is actually working with the Po Valley as well as with Saffron? I mean, about the key members.
Sure. Well, so Saffron Energy has its own dedicated team. However, it's complemented by a technical team that's also under Po Valley Energy. And the technical team under Po Valley Energy is more of a more geoscience-driven, exploration-driven, compared to the Saffron Energy team, which is obviously dealing more with the producing, so reservoir engineers, for example, and reservoir geologists. Those are the types of profiles we have under Saffron Energy at the moment.
Who are the key guys?
The key guys are Enzo Vigliante, who is our production development manager. Enzo was with E&I for over 18 years, and his last experience was with the Karachaganak field in Kazakhstan. So Enzo was drilling 80 wells per year at Karachaganak, yes. So he's a lot of experience, and is obviously just a great guy to work with. In addition to that, there's a guy named Giorgio Bertuzzi, who I believe presented recently, so some of our investors might have had an opportunity to see him and or meet him. And so Giorgio has, over 40-year career with E&I, and has been with Po Valley Energy as long as, or with now Saffron Energy, but has been on the ground with us for the last 7 or 8 years.
And I think he was head of exploration at E&I, so you probably know all the best wells to drill in Italy.
Absolutely. He knows the Po Valley like the back of his hand. That is correct. That is correct. And he was actually in charge of a lot of the relinquishing of the licenses that was required with the deregulations and the privatization that came through in the late 90s. So he was very much on top of what licenses were relinquished.
So Sara, let's give an update to investors. We did a really good IPO in February this year, and then we announced first gas at Bezzecca gas field back in February, with expected flow rate to be between 30-35 standard cubic meters per day. What is the update at Bezzecca?
So we recently updated the market on Bezzecca. That was about, I believe, 2 weeks ago. And in that release, we informed investors that a bottom hole choke was going to be installed on the well. This has a 2-day payback, so it's ultimately a very small investment for that piece of equipment and takes 1 day to install. So it's not particularly laborious to complete that activity. We are going to be updating the market in the course of the next 10 to 20 days as we come out with a quarterly activities report at Po Valley Energy level. And at that time, we're going to give the specifics on how much the field has been producing, as well as an indication of what our revenues were for the quarter.
Well, I mean, you came to market. Let's say there was a bit of a fanfare. It was, it was a successful IPO and everything else. Market cap now back down to £7 million. It seems to be there's, even though you're a producing company, there's not much hope value. There's not much. You're just, the situation's gone cold. Let's say, in terms of that euphoria. I mean, what do you think? What do you think has to change now in terms of the market perception?
Well, I think there's been a huge amount of turbulence, particularly in the London and also in the oil and gas markets over the last 6 weeks. I mean, the election and then quite a lot of volatility on oil has kind of knocked around a whole range of stocks, particularly in the oil and gas space. Probably the thing that differentiates gas in Italy is that, 1, the price is high, 2, we have fixed price contracts with Shell, so our prices are high, and we've got a hell of a lot of growth sitting in our portfolio that will substantially add to production and substantially add to revenues. So we are focused on substantially increasing our production rates, and perhaps the market in this turbulence in both oil and the UK market's not picking that up. I think one of the things that Sara and I are in London to do over the next week and over the next month is really make sure the market fully understands where we are, where we're generating cash, and where the growth's going to come from.
Is there an issue, I mean, that maybe the market's not impressed by how much you're producing at the moment and thinks that if you are going to ramp that up or you've got other opportunities, that will cost money and then therefore you'll have to raise money? So maybe there's that block on enthusiasm, let's say. Look,
very few IPOs list in March have production in April. We've got growth in gas flows occurring now. The downhole choke will further increase production at Bezzecca. We're going to see quarter-on-quarter revenue growth, quarter-on-quarter production growth. We do want to lay the foundations for a further substantial increase in production. In the Competent Persons report, we talked about 1.5 million standard cubic feet per day of production this year, increasing to 4.5. And that growth platform just on the existing assets is sitting there and ready to be delivered against, and that's what we're focused on. But look, I can see ways in which we can further expand well in excess of that, and that's what the talented team that Sara referred to is trying to do.
So basically the market's treating you as if none of the heavy lifting's been done. There's been no deal with Shell, there's been nothing produced. I mean, it's just like saying, okay, you're on the market, 5 million, 10 million, who cares, that's it. Is that
well, it's strange. Usually when you go into production, that's when markets start to look at you in a different way, realise that your operating costs are being covered by hard euro-denominated revenues, and if anything, those euro-denominated revenues are worth a lot more in pounds than they were a month ago, given the decline of sterling. So I think we've got the growth there. I think it's important, particularly with Sara coming on back from maternity leave and the organisation gearing up for what should be a very exciting 6 to 12 months, that we get the message out.
So let's talk about growth. What I would like to understand a little bit more from you, Sara, is first of all, with the assets that you have in the portfolio, so what are the progress on Sant'Alberto, what will be with Bezzecca 2 and with Sant'Alberto 3 eventually, and maybe also if there are any other opportunities, acquisition that you are looking at.
Well, I think we're always looking at acquisition opportunities. Kind of like what Michael mentioned recently, but also just now, we have a platform for growth. And that's what we are very much committed to doing. And I think that actually with the Oil Capital conference that's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be a great occasion for us to really try and get that message out and really engage with shareholders so that we can make sure that's coming across clearly. There is also Sant'Alberto, and I think with there too, we will also come up with an update in due course. I would expect that to be very soon, but it is our intention to deliver on that as well. And like Michael mentions, we don't want to diminish the importance of what we already have brought to market by distracting and looking at other opportunities, but we are very much open to both, and we are very much pursuing both.
So any secret meeting in London for potential acquisition?
If we told you, it wouldn't be a secret, right?
Now, coming back...
I mean, you asked a specific question to Sara about Solaro and Bezzecca. Solaro has actually been fantastic. In the Competent Persons report, it was meant to stop back in December, and it's still pumping out gas at 10,000 cubic metres a day. So that's great. One of the big opportunities for Saffron is to move to the next stage of production at Solaro and get the deviated well drilled sooner rather than, say, the prospectus indicated. That'll significantly boost cash flows, and that's immediate boost of cash flows. Drill the well, get the production, because the plant's all there and the connection to the grid's there. And similarly, Bezzecca 2. Bezzecca 2 is expected to double, treble the production rates from the Bezzecca gas field, and again, if we can do some smart things, with minimum dilution to shareholders, that's a big win for shareholders as well. So we want to take the hard dollar, hard euro revenues that we've achieved, and look at how we can take that up 2 or 3 times over the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah. Something that I think investors would like to understand a little bit better is the relationship between Po Valley and Saffron Energy. So Po Valley owns over 65% in Saffron with a lock-in of 12 months, I think. So what the plan afterwards, and also are there any assets in Po Valley that could be eventually relevant for Saffron?
So ultimately, Saffron Energy is a spin-off of Po Valley Energy, and what we did is we took the producing and near production assets and we put them under one umbrella, which is Saffron Energy, and we listed that umbrella. So what we currently have under Po Valley Energy at the moment is, yes, it has the 65% shareholding in Saffron Energy at the moment. That will probably get diluted over time. But it currently holds assets which are not as far along in the regulatory process. So it's very much still in an appraisal or exploration phase. So that was kind of the distinct difference. We put them in two categories, and we said what we hear from investors is that they're looking for an investment, Saffron Energy, that is going to have a better chance at giving dividends and immediate returns on their investment. Would there be the potential, I think, to bring some assets from Po Valley into Saffron Energy? Yes. Timing is everything. The asset would need to be at a stage where we would not want the Saffron Energy investors to be waiting a considerable amount of time, so thus deviating from our original strategy, which is to deliver as quickly as possible on production.
Okay, thank you to Sara and Michael to be on the show. That's everything from the Financial Fox, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.